Hello everyone, welcome to Blockman Editor tutorial. In this video, we will give you a complete introduction to the Blockman Editor. Let's start with creating a grassland project. In the scene window, we can see that the editor has a piece of terrain added by default. We can edit this terrain. Click on the terrain tool from the game component. We have got two tabs, Creation and Edit. The Create and Destroy under the Creation tab are used to add and clear terrains. We will talk about it later. 7 different options that appear under the Edit tab refer to 7 brushes with different effects. Let's first learn about how to use these brushes to edit the map. Click on Increase. Then move the mouse over the terrain in the scene window. Left click and a small hill will appear on the terrain. Long press left button without releasing, and move around. The terrain changes along with the mouse. These are the 2 main ways to use terrain brush. Next, let's take a look at how to adjust the brush. In the game components view, after we select Increase, there are some properties that can be adjusted. We have got 4 parameters including shape, size, anchor point and lock plane. Shape refers to the shape of the brush including ball and box. Size refers to the range of the brush, the larger the number, the larger the range of the brush. The anchor point is used to set the relative position of the brush and the terrain surface. Currently, only 3 types are supported: bottom alignment, center alignment, and top alignment. If the lock plane is checked, terrain will only be generated on the plane at the same height of current brush. If unchecked, the terrain will be generated above the terrain generated this time. Under the Materials section, there are some preset terrain materials for us to choose. We can choose the material we like to help improve our design. Click on Decrease. The Decrease brush acts like an eraser, and is used to delete terrains within the brush range. For example, if we think that a piece of the terrain is not suitable, we can use the Decrease brush to remove it. The parameter setting of Decrease brush is similar to the Increase brush, have a try yourself. Click on Grow. This brush can slowly lift and fill existing terrain, usually used to make hills, fill depressions, etc. Among the parameters of the Grow brush, we need to pay attention to the following 3. First is Strength. Strength affects how quickly the terrain is lifted or filled. The higher the strength, the faster the terrain is lifted or filled. Followed by Lock Plane checkbox. If it is checked, the terrain will only be filled vertically upwards. If the lock is off, the terrain is filled in the direction of the brush. And finally the Direction Lock. If lock direction is checked, the brush direction cannot be adjusted while long pressing the mouse. If lock direction is not checked, the brush direction can be adjusted even when the mouse is held down. Click on Erode. The Erode brush can slowly erase existing terrain, often used to make caves, canyons, etc. The parameters of the erosion brush are similar to the Grow brush, you can experience it yourself. Click on Smooth. Smooth brush is used to smooth out sharper terrain and make it less wrinkled. The larger the strength parameter is, the stronger the smoothing effect. Click on Flatten. The Flatten brush is used to set the terrain to the same height, usually for plains or flat terrains. Pay attention to the Flatten mode in this brush. There are altogether 3 flattening modes. The first is to eliminate the terrain above. Only the terrain above the specified level will be eliminated while the terrain below will not be filled. The second is to fill the terrain below. Only the terrain below the specified level will be filled while the terrain above will not be eliminated. The third is Flatten All, which eliminates the terrain above the specified level and fills the terrain below at the same time. Click on Replace. The Replace brush is used to paint specified materials on the terrain surface. We can use this brush to paint ice, masonry, lava, etc. on the terrain. The game scene can have more than one piece of terrain. To add a new terrain, you need to use the Create Terrain under the Creation tab. Click on Create. In the basic settings, we can adjust parameters such as the length, width, height and position of the new terrain. But a more convenient way is to directly drag the dots bound to box in the scene window to adjust the size and position of the terrain. Once the parameters are set, click Create Terrain, and a new terrain will generate in the scene window. The terrain generated is covered with green grass by default. However, it should be noted that the actual height of the terrain is only half of the height set. This is because the height set not only includes the height of the terrain, but also the height of the mountains, hills and other landforms that may appear later. So that when you use the random terrain function, certain space is reserved for possible mountains, hills, etc. That's why the editor sets the height of the generated terrain to half of the height parameter set. If you want to generate some special landforms, you can try the random landform feature. Check Enable Random Landform. Currently there are 4 special landforms for us to choose from: plains, hills, dunes, and lavascape. We can choose one of the landforms alone, or a combination of multiple landforms. When multiple landform combinations are selected, the richness of the landform can be adjusted by changing the scale parameter in the seed parameter. The smaller the scale parameter is, the richer the randomly generated landforms will be, otherwise, will tend to be one of the selected landforms. There is a clickable dice button in the seed parameter. Clicking on this button can give you random seed numbers. Different seed numbers are designed to make each randomly generated terrain unique. Click Create Terrain to generate a random terrain. It should be noted that if the seed numbers are the same, and the remaining parameters are determined, the terrain generated will be the same each time. As long as we change the seed number, the terrain generated will be different again. When we want to clear all terrains in the scene, click the Destroy option, and then click on the Destroy Terrain button to delete all terrains in the scene. Here's an example of a design terrain. That's all for this video. We hope it can help you on your way to a great creator. If you want to know more about the editor, you can comment below the video or post on the official forum. See you in the next class.